Hello and welcome to Built by Design. In this workshop, we're going to be covering how your team can design and CAD your entire robot in less than a week. So what we're going to be covering today in the next 30 minutes is we're going to be going over kind of what is Built by Design, and then what is the problem that Built by Design is solving, as well as that solution. So who are we? We are 8 high school interns from the Portland area. We all worked at Autodesk this summer, and this is the project that we created to help you guys learn CAD and reduce that learning curve. So we like videos, and we hope that you like videos too, so we have a short little video here to kind of show off what we are. So that is what Built by Design is all about. But beyond that, Built by Design is essentially a website as well and tutorial series that goes along with that engages people and teaches them how to learn CAD. So why would we want to teach this? What is the problem that this is all solving? So kind of the original problem that we saw on our team was that it was really hard for a lot of people to design and CAD the robot all together. What you'd have is you'd have one person designing the robot and everyone else sitting around doing nothing or putting together different prototypes and such. Well, the one person is out there CADing, and there's a lot of benefits to CAD for those of you guys that do not CAD already as a team. You can work out problems and work out issues that you're going to have way before you ever actually get to it in the build phase. And so what we were thinking is how can we take people's really good ideas and how can we get them to turn those into CAD models quicker and faster so that you have more time to actually be building and designing your robot rather than struggling with these CAD programs that are really there more to help you than anything. So what we've created is a series of tutorial videos that cover everything from basic understanding of CAD, which starts at the sketch level, all the way into really in-depth how to manage assemblies and so on. So the idea is that people can watch these videos, your team can watch these videos, it takes about 2 hours to go through them, and really get a solid understanding of how to use these CAD programs and then move into that and how to use those CAD programs in a way that your entire team can be involved in this collaborative design process. So with that, some things with our series, as you're going through, the videos are really fast-paced. We designed them to be really fast-paced, and that is so that if you are having issues on specific things, you can go back and rewatch them. You can slow it down. YouTube has that option, and you can watch those videos at the pace that you need to, while other people that may have got the section immediately that you understand will breeze right through. So we're trying to make it so it's not boring, but also the availability so that we do cover everything that you do need to know. So make sure that if you miss something, rewatch it till you understand it, because if you don't understand it, we're likely to not repeat it again. So that's really an important thing to understand when you're going through these tutorials. And also there's tons of extra cool stuff on our website and content that we can check out, but we'll dive into that a little bit later. So first we're going to kind of kick off, and I'm going to show you, we'll go through a couple of the videos what it looks like and what these videos are. These are really just you can find these right on our website if you want to watch them again. But here they are. So we're going to start off with brainstorming with Fusion. In this video, I will be covering how you can implement and use Autodesk Fusion as a digital whiteboard and catalyst for the design process. Taking the strategy for playing the game that your team came up with previously, you can now begin brainstorming solutions to accomplish the given strategy. As with before, an organized brainstorming process should be implemented to get your ideas out on the table. During this stage, it is important to focus on what the solution would do and not on how the solution would be created. Once your team has generated a few ideas on how to accomplish your strategies, break into small groups and create Fusion models that express how the solution would work. These models can then be shown to the group so that everyone can clearly understand your idea and how it would work. Once all of the Fusion ideas have been presented, begin evaluating them in a pro-con manner, considering simplicity, effectiveness, weight, size, cost, time requirement, and difficulty. Once again, be sure not bite off more than you can chew. And now for some tips for effectively using Fusion to express your ideas. First, keep models basic. How things will function is more important than how they look. As you can see, if you want to model a motor, it should look like this right here, and not like this. You can go into this kind of detail later when we get to the inventor stage of things, but right now, for all intents and purposes, this is what a motor should look like, because this is quick, fast, and easy for you to be able to do. It doesn't take very much time because you really don't need very much detail with Fusion. Fusion is designed to be able to express your ideas more than anything, and that's what we want to use it for. Finally, it's also important to make models dimensionally accurate as possible without wasting time doing so. So what I mean by this is try to keep models within the build parameters defined by the ruled book. For example, you don't need a model, you shouldn't model an idea that is 10 feet tall when the rule book limits heights to 4 feet. And that is it. Thank you for watching Built by Design. Please continue to see more tutorials on how to use Fusion more in detail. Thanks for watching. So now covering kind of the brainstorming process. That was the second of the first series section of videos. The first section is all about kind of before you get into the software, when you first start looking at the rules, when you first start looking at the game, and all of that. The next section is really into more of the CAD, and we're starting with an Autodesk Inventor Fusion. So those of you that don't know what that is, it's a CAD software that is a lot simpler than something like SolidWorks or Inventor. It's non-parametric, which means, or non-associative, which means basically you can continue to push and pull and change things. You don't have to go back to sketches, and it's a lot easier and a lot simpler to use. It's also available for free on the App Store for those of you with Macs, those of you without Macs. It's also available on the Autodesk student site. We have links to the software. All the software that we show in our videos is downloadable for free online. So check those out. It's really cool. So now we're going to dive into the beginning. As with all CAD programs, you really start with the very beginning sketching. And so that's where we start here. And this is Fusion How to Sketch. Welcome to Built by Design. Today we're going to be covering the basics of Inventor Fusion, and that is 2D sketching. So we're going to launch Inventor Fusion right here. So this first dialog box you can cancel out. If you want to sign into Autodesk 360, you can as well. So this is recent files that you've saved, as well as the new and open. So we're going to open a new document here. So this is our work area to create 3D models within. So we have up here, these are the tools that we have to work with. These are the sketch tools here, and then up here at the top, these are going to be 3D, moving along. And then we have view tools down here, so zoom, pan, rotate, And then this is also a rotating ball that you can click and drag to rotate around and change your view. So the first, and then we have browser here. This is more or less kind of the history of your part and your objects in 3D designs. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to change our units from millimeters to inches. It's important to do that now because if you do it later, it's really a pain. And then we're going to go over here and click Create New Sketch. So when you create a new sketch, it gives you a couple different options to select planes. So we're going to select this back plane. Once you've selected a plane, at least for me, I always find it best to then rotate so that you're just seeing the 2D sketch plane environment. Once we're there, then we're going to click over here, click Line. And while you notice when you create a line, it gives you a couple different options. So you have this distance here, as well as then degrees. So for us right now, we're just gonna not worry about those too much, but if you want to, you can actually type in, so I'm gonna actually, no matter, I'll do that right now. I'm gonna type in 3 inches, click enter, and then click, and that'll make that line exactly 3 inches long. So go through. You also notice that once I turn it into a closed shape, it turns orange. And this is really important because orange shapes can be turned into 3D and things that aren't orange can't be turned into 3D. So it's kind of an important thing to remember when you're doing and drawing things. So then over here we have constraints. So I want to actually turn this into a rectangle. Right now it's a weird polygon thing. And so what I'm going to do is I want to make these lines perpendicular to one another. How do I do it? I do that with constraints. I'm going to go over here, select perpendicular. And then once I select that, have that selected, I can select 2 lines and it'll make it perpendicular. You can see then that I have the little square in the corner, meaning that it's perpendicular. That means that those 2 lines are constrained perpendicular to one another. So continue that through the rest. And there we have it. Now we have a perfectly constrained rectangle. But you say, hey, you know, I actually want to make this not crooked. So you can go click horizontal. This will make it horizontal to the sketch plane that we're on right now. There we go, beautiful. We have a rectangle, but I don't want just rectangle, I want this to be a square. So I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna click the equal constraint, make these 2 lines equal to one another. So let's say that, oh great, you made a square that way, you wanna make it faster. There's an option for that, and that's over here in our toolbox. So we have the rectangle tool, so you can just select 1 point, and then another. That creates a nice pretty rectangle which we can easily turn into a square with the equal constraint. Select 2 lines, make them equal, and there we go, we have a square. So now that we have a square, what you can do is you can actually resize these and they will maintain that associativity based on those constraints. So they will remain a square and a perfect square, and it's not going to revert to a rectangle or some odd shape. But when you don't put those constraints on, as I'll show you here, what will happen is you can actually move and adjust this and change the entire look and direction of what the shape is. So if I click on the corner, I can actually drag, completely adjust, and move the shape around. So I'm not limited to things. So this actually does have a few constraints that were put on it just based off of when I was sketching. It natively kind of dropped those constraints in, but you can actually go through one of those functions that'll get rid of it. So another option we have too is to make circles. Circles, you can make them tangent and concentric as well. So this, we're going to make tangent to the line. There you go, you see a little tangent circle. So that is sketching. Continue watching the next video to see how you can turn these sketches into 3D objects. Thanks for watching. Built by Design. So thanks for watching the first 15 minutes. Come right back after this and watch the next 15 minutes. We're going to be covering more in depth on how to CAD and how to use BXD within your teams to really engage and build an awesome robot.